G'day guys, how's it going? It's Reese here. I'm bringing you a video on funding fees today. Funding fees are something that I've often seen people fail to understand, fail to know exist. And a lot of the time I'll see people that close out a trade and then they can't figure out why they haven't made as much profit as they think they should have. And it turns out funding fees are the culprit. They've been paying fees and not realizing it. So what we'll do is we'll go through why they exist, when to avoid them, when to be happy to pay them, a few things, and hopefully it'll clear things up for you guys and give you some tips on trading with funding fees. So the reason that funding fees exist, right? It all comes down to the fact that you are trading perpetual contracts. So perpetual, it's in the name, perpetual means it goes forever. So you can, in theory, long Bitcoin today on the perp contracts and sit in that trade for the next 100 years. There's nothing stopping you doing that. The problem with that is there's nothing tethering the perpetual price to the spot price of Bitcoin. So in theory, Bitcoin could be sitting at 50K and everyone on perps is super bullish on Bitcoin over the next 100 years. So they just keep longing. No one's shorting because they think long-term Bitcoin's going to be worth a fortune and they want to trade on leverage so they can get more money when Bitcoin does well. And so the perp price would just keep going up even though the spot price of Bitcoin is sitting flat, right? So you can see at the moment that Bitcoin USDT on Binance is worth $46,803. Bitcoin USDT perp also on Binance is worth $46,840. So there's a difference of about $20 at the moment in the spot price compared to the futures price, right? So this is why funding fees exist. The whole point of funding fees is to keep the perpetual price tethered to the spot price. And so what happens is if the perpetual price is higher than the spot price, longs will pay shorts a funding fee. And the reason for that is it encourages people to be short because it means if they're short, they're getting paid the fee. It encourages people to close longs because if they're closing their long, they're not paying the fee. And what that does is it increases selling pressure, which drops the price of Bitcoin. So it keeps it close to the spot price. Now, if the reverse happened and the perpetual price was lower than the spot price, the funding fees would be negative, and that would mean that shorts would pay longs. And so it would increase buying pressure because people are happier to be in longs because they get paid this funding fee, and they're also wanting to close their shorts, so they're not paying the fees. And so you can see either way, it sort of keeps an equilibrium, right? It'll keep the perpetual price close to the spot price. That's the entire reason that funding fees exist. Now, the three main exchanges, Binance, BitMEX, and FTX, they calculate their funding fees a little bit different. You don't need to know the formulas. They show it on the chart, they show it above the chart, right? So it's pretty easy to find. The difference is Binance and BitMEX, they charge their funding fees every 8 hours. So it happens 3 times a day. FTX is 24 times a day. It happens every hour. People will have strategies built purely to take advantage of the funding fees. They might be, if the funding fees are positive, they might be shorting the second before the funding fees are paid and then closing the trade the second after they're paid, and they'll get paid that funding fee. People will do things based on the funding fees. Now, an important thing to note is funding fees are paid purely peer-to-peer. The exchange take no cut. None of those three take any cut from funding fees. So if I'm long and you're short, and funding fees are positive, the entire funding fee that I pay goes to you. So they are, kind of one of the good fees, right? So that is why they exist. That's why they exist. Now, how to use funding fees, how to avoid them. So I don't recommend building a strategy based on funding fees. I'm sure it can be done. Chances are there's a million bots out there doing it better than you'll be able to, right? That's not to discourage you, but for most people, it's probably going to be a big investment of your time that's going to have little payoff. I never use, what am I trying to say? I usually try and avoid funding fees in my trading, right? Because I sit in a lot of trades for a really long time. If I'm going to sit in a trade for, let's say a month, let's say 30 days, if I'm on Binance, I'm paying 90 lots of funding fees, all being paid, right? Depending on which way the funding fees are going, but I'm at risk. I'm exposed to 90 lots of funding fees. I don't know if I'm going to be paying or getting them. And you can see the last week of funding fees, it's averaged about So it was about 0.01 there, came up to, what was the peak? Let's call that 0.4, right? 0.04. So let's just say that they were at 0.01%. That is on your entire position size, which means that if you're trading 100x leverage, you're paying 1% or getting paid, but you are, let's say, paying 1% of your margin every 8 hours. So you're actually paying 3% of your margin a day, which can put you at risk of liquidation, right? People don't realize, but if your funding fees are coming out of your margin and you're losing 3% a day, your liquidation price is getting even closer and closer to your entry because you have less capital to cover your liquidation. That's very rarely going to be a problem for most people, but that is something to consider. So if I'm going to sit in a trade for a long time, I try and use the quarterly contracts, right? Quarterly contracts, because they are quarterly, they expire. They don't have funding fees because when they expire, you'll see price tends to come in line with the spot price. So they don't need funding fees to keep things realistic. That's a really big advantage when you're potentially sitting in a long-term trade and you don't want to have to worry about whether you're getting paid or paying funding fees. Quarterlies are perfect. No funding fees there. The downside to quarterlies is lack of data. You can see that this only goes to the 19th of June or the 18th of June. So I'm currently in a short on Bitcoin USDT perp. And the only reason I took it on perp, I'm planning on sitting in it for a long time. The only reason I took it on perp was I needed this data. I wanted to know what was happening around that price point. And so for me, I'd rather risk paying the funding fees than to have to sort of guess at what the equivalent level is going to be. You know, that's not what I wanted. I'd be assuming it's somewhere up there, but I don't know for sure. On the USDT perp chart, I know exactly where it's going to be. So my general rule, and this is an exception, but my general rule is if I'm going to be in a trade for more than 2 days, take it on quarterlies. Don't worry about fees. Sweet. If I'm going to be in it for less than 2 days, take it on perps because perps have high liquidity. So like usually if I'm going to be in a trade for less than 2 days, I'm scalping. If I'm scalping, I just want big liquidity. I don't want to have to worry about orders not getting filled, that sort of thing. And perp usually has really, really high liquidity. So that's my like general guideline. Less than 2 days, take it on perp. More than 2, try and take it on quarterlies. Here, perfect example of when I can't take it on quarterlies or when I'd rather not take it on quarterlies because I still could have. I preferred not to. So that's sort of, that's why funding fees exist. That's sort of how I think about them in my trading. I really don't think about them for the most part. Now, one important thing to note here is they're not always bad. So I often hear people say, you only get paid funding fees if the market's going against you. That's not true, okay? And here's a perfect example. I sat in this short. I was in 140% profit, and my last 4 funding fees had all been positive. So what happened there, right, was the Bitcoin price was coming down, but the spot price was dropping faster than the perpetual price, which means that you're still going to have longs paying shorts because they want the price to come to meet the spot price. So they can be really, really good. I got paid a lot of funding fees this entire time. Now, I was carrying the risk because if it had gone the other way, if the perps had oversold and gone below the spot price, I would have been paying funding fees, right? So they do carry that risk. But the thing to remember is sometimes it's worth paying the funding fees, all right? A perfect example, I'll link in the description an interview with Zoran Kole that my mates at Unity did. But he sat in an ETH USD trade, I think we're talking 2 or 3 years ago. He made over $1 million. In that trade, he paid around 200K in funding fees, right? And he'd be talking US. So he paid a fortune in funding fees. Do you think he cared? He made over $1 million. Like, though if that was me, I'd be happy paying those funding fees. I'd have been sitting there, yeah, take my money. I'm already up this much. I do not care about that. So funding fees aren't something to be scared of. They're definitely something to be wary of and to keep in mind. Don't forget they exist. But I think they're definitely not something to be scared of. When you understand what they are, when you understand why you're paying them, or even better, why you're getting paid them, it takes a lot of fear out of there. And yeah, I hope that clears things up for you guys. As always, like and subscribe. It really does help me. And I hope you're all having a good week. Happy trading, and I'll talk to you guys very soon.